Who do you main right now? Do you just use the one character? Maybe you have a secondary for your bad matchups. Maybe you have a couple different characters that you rotate between, giving you 3 or 4 different mains. Or maybe you're still looking for that one character that connects with you on a deeper level than any of the others. Of course, the most important part is to have fun, but I'm guessing you have more fun when you win than when you lose. So what's the best way to help you win? How many characters should you master in order to have the most fun and win the most amount of matches possible? There isn't a straightforward answer to that, but I think I can give you some advice that'll help you focus your attention towards what will benefit you specifically. So, of course, let's ask this question right off the bat. What is a main? Well, that's easy enough. It's the character that you use when you want to play competitively and get the best results possible. It's the character that you practice with more than anyone else, and the character you use when you're specifically trying to win games. Basically, it's your main character, but I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to figure that out. Now, hang on a second. If it's your main character, then doesn't that imply that you're only using that one fighter? Sure, you can use others for fun or for friendlies, but if you're using multiple different characters, then doesn't that basically contradict the meaning of the word in the first place? That's an excellent point. So let me go over 2 other points really quick. Why you need a main, and whether or not you need a secondary. Let's say your favorite part of the game is all the different characters that you can choose from, and just the idea of using the same character over and over and over makes you sick to your stomach. That's totally fine. I want you to play as many different characters as you'd like so that you can get better at the fundamentals and learn what playstyle works best for you. Eventually though, you may find that one character clicks with you more than the others, and you find yourself using that character more than anyone else and winning more games than ever. If this happens, congratulations! You just found your main! But as I'm sure you can guess, it doesn't stop there. At first, it seems like a match made in heaven. Not only is this character more fun to use in general, but it also feels like they're an extension of yourself. I can't even begin to describe the way I felt once Byleth first came out and I started absolutely destroying everyone in my path. I was learning the game faster, getting better quicker, and I just couldn't see myself using anyone but her. I wasn't just a Byleth player anymore, I was a Byleth main now. Byleth was part of my identity. I wasn't just a Black Eagle in 3 houses anymore, now I could be a Black Eagle in Smash Ultimate too. And I couldn't stop smiling for weeks. Until I did stop smiling. Part of the journey of getting better at Smash is losing. A lot. That part is easily the worst part of the journey, and it's at that point when most people either decide to drop their main or pick up another character to help balance things out. When you're losing match after match, it's easy to just switch to another character and hope you win. Heck, that's what I do with Min Min sometimes. When it comes down to it though, there are people out there who can beat your Pikachu and then immediately lose to your Ganondorf. Matchups are a major part of Smash Ultimate, and basically everyone struggles with different characters. I personally do pretty well against most Joker players, but once somebody uses Piranha Plant, let's just not talk about that right now. So, if that's the case, then doesn't it make sense for you to have multiple characters if you want to win more games? Not necessarily. Remember, the most important reason to use your main is to grow and get better at the game, and that doesn't happen as quickly if you're changing characters every time you lose. When you use your main, you're doing more than just trying to win. You're subconsciously learning matchups, practicing combos, developing fluency with your character, practicing adaptation, and hopefully learning what your bad habits and weaknesses are. If you're switching characters every time you lose in hopes that you can beat your opponent with a matchup they're not as good with, you're relying on gimmicking your opponent more so than anything. What you need to be doing is looking at what you're doing wrong and fixing your mistakes so that you can become a better player fundamentally. If you need the psychological boost of winning a game so that you'll be more willing to practice longer, by all means, feel free to play with whoever you'd like. But if you can stomach it, try just to use the one character to win. So that settles that, right? Just use one character. That way, you'll learn matchups quicker, you'll learn combos quicker, and you'll become more fluent with your character. Well, as I'm sure you can guess, it's not that simple either. Even if you're the best Byleth player in the world, chances are you won't do too well against Pikachu or Min Min players who are equally as good as you. Even if you're really good, there are some matchups that fundamentally aren't in your favor. This is the case for basically every character on the roster, which means that if you want to win major tournaments, it's time to pick up a secondary. I've made a video on picking out your secondary already, but the most important thing to remember when choosing your secondary is looking at matchups where your main loses and using a character that either wins or is at least even against those matchups. Every character has bad matchups, and basically every top player out there uses multiple characters. MKLeo uses Byleth, Joker, and the Aegis. ESAM uses Pikachu, Min Min, and Mii Brawler. Dabuz uses Rosalina, Min Min, and Olimar. Tweak uses... well, Tweak uses everybody, but he's the exception. He's just good at the game in general. Here's something important to remember though. They didn't get there by using every character under the sun, or even just 3 characters interchangeably. Tweak got there by solo maining Bowser Jr. ESAM got there by using Pikachu. MKLeo solidified himself as the best player in the world by solo maining Joker. It was only after they got to the top level that they decided to pick up more characters and address their weaknesses or add more variety to their arsenal. Well, that's cool and all, but you're not Tweak or Dabuz. If you are though, please like this video. What's most likely though is that you're still trying to work your way up to that elite level. So what should you do? Should you use multiple characters, or should you just stick with one and use your main even in your bad matchups? Well, this isn't really an easy question to answer, and if I'm being honest, I don't think there's a one-fit solution that you should walk away with. The typical traditional advice is to just use your main, even in situations where they might not do as well. But if you're not having fun or growing while playing in those matchups, then does it really make sense to do it at all? Of course, it really comes down to what your goals are. What are you trying to accomplish? Personally, my goal is to win 5v5 Squad Strike tournaments, so it makes sense for me to utilize 5 different characters. But even then, I still try to pick one main character in order to get better at the fundamentals, adaptation, and overcoming my bad habits. This is easier to do when you're using one fighter than if you're constantly spreading your attention across multiple different characters. Also, in Squad Strike, I don't get to change my character based on the matchup. Once the characters are out, I get one chance before I go straight into my next fighter on my squad, so it's not like I can just practice against my good matchups. When my opponent uses Pikachu, I don't know if I'm going to be using Byleth or Robin or Sora, so I have to get used to every matchup with no excuses. Well, that's great for me, but what about you? Maybe you're looking to be a traditional 1v1 player, rise up your state's power rankings, and become known throughout the world as one of the best players with your particular character. What should someone like that do to practice? The answer to that is, whatever works for you. So long as you are working hard, you are moving in the right direction. There is no one right way to practice, so as long as you are genuinely trying to improve, you are becoming a better Smash player. Some people might foo-foo this idea and say that you should just pick a main and never use anyone but that character until you're a top 50 player in the world. And maybe that works for them, and maybe that even works for you too. But it's not the best advice for everyone. The most important part is that you're practicing and having fun, because if you get frustrated and lose your motivation, do you really think you're going to keep playing? Do you really think that that'll help you reach your goals? Here's my advice to you. Use your main as much as you can, but don't let it become a shackle that prevents you from using anyone else. Chances are you're going to have to pick up a secondary to handle your bad matchups at some point, and if you really want to start practicing those bad matchups right now, more power to you. I would definitely recommend it, just so long as you're enjoying the process and picking up your controller every day. Getting better is a gradual process, and everyone grows at a different pace. But so long as you're practicing just as hard as everyone else, there's no reason why you can't make it to the top one day too. So, what do you think? How many mains do you have? What are your goals as a Smash player? Leave a comment to let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.